Good morning. How are we doing today? Sunday morning, just got back from church. Got a guy coming to pick up 6 bags of corn here this morning, so sorted those out. I'm gonna run down to the farm. I thought I saw Phil's truck down there. I need to tell him about the closing wheel frame on the bean planter that's now broken because I took the one off the corn planter. Anyway, let's get going. Fueling our tractor up before we go. We should be able to go down and plant everything and get back on 1 tank of fuel, so I'm not too concerned about it, but we do need to leave with it full. What I'm debating about now is on the fertilizer side of it. I don't really want to take a bunch of fertilizer with us on the planter or this tank back here, but I also want to make sure we have enough, or we're going to have enough. And so I need to do a little math and see. Oh, what do we got in there? 200 or 300 gallons. That might be enough. 200 gallons. We'll have to see. I needed 4,000 something. So I got 1,800 on the tank that we took down already. We're going to have to make another trip with that, but that still leaves me a little short. So we'll see here. All right, so I was doing some math and looking up my fertilizer stuff. I would need to take almost 1,000 gallons on here of the 2x2 starter in order to have enough in 2 trips with the semi. I'm not taking 1,000 gallons with me that long of a road trip, not doing it. So we're just gonna end up making a 3rd trip with the semi, or what would be better if we can is to, if I can get all of the in-furrow starter off on this first trip, then we can put 2x2 stuff in both tanks on the tender trailer and we would make that work. But I don't know if I can do that real well. So we'll see. We'll figure that out later. We're not going to finish planting corn down there today anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're almost ready to go. So this is a long trip. It's 35 miles. It's going to take us 2 hours to get there because we go 20 miles an hour. And I like to stop about halfway and throw some talc or oil dry or some sort of lubrication in the tracks just to help keep everything cool and not sticky, and especially on a hot day like today, that's going to be important. So I've got some pails of talc back here. We're going to grab one, we're going to throw it in the tractor with us, and we'll stop somewhere and use it. I'm not as wide or as tall as we are with the 9R and the field cultivator, and so we take a little bit more direct route today. Basically, we made 1 turn coming off the road that the farm is on, and the next turn will be the road that the Berkey farm is on. So straight shot. All right, we've made it to about our halfway point, so I'm just checking. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Not so hot that I can't touch it. This part of the track does get sort of warm though, so what we're going to do to try and help prevent that is to throw some talc down inside those idlers, and then it kind of rolls around and falls out as we drive down the road and helps keep everything lubricated really well. We'll do that on all 4 tracks and keep it moving. Now as we drive away, you'll see the white dust cloud coming off the tracks. So we don't have to do that normally because the dirt from the fields gets in there and lubricates things, and so normally our trips are 5 miles or less, a few 10-mile trips. We get enough dirt in them in the fields and stuff that it keeps the tracks lubricated and cool. When we're making a 35-mile trip, there's no dirt. We're just on pavement the whole time, so it doesn't get that lubrication. Well, we made it. So Dad worked this field last night. He is currently hitting it a 2nd time. We'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, we're here. There's nothing ready to plant, so we've got a little bit of time, but we've got to get stuff loaded up. I'm debating what to do with fertilizer. Gotta look at my sheets and see what seed we're putting in here, but I've got some fertilizer left from the last field, and it's that stuff that we dumped in out of those totes. So I think I want to use that stuff up, or at least majority of it up, before we load out of the trailer. So yeah, we'll see. Alright, step one here is get our seed tender loaded up. I brought the corn that we need a few days ago. This is the last full box that I've got, and we're gonna load it up and put it all in a planter because it's going in this field, and then we'll plant the rest of it in the next field. Everything I've got down here is 111 and 10-day stuff, so it's all about the same, but it's all gonna get planted today or tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so our planter is about empty on seed. We put that little half a bag in to finish up the other day. No big deal on that. We do have a little bit of fertilizer left, and so the problem is I put those totes of stuff in there, and so I have this this chicken water. Remember this chicken water? This stuff they made by boiling chicken water, chicken litter. Yeah, I'm not really excited about using this stuff, but we've got it, and so we're gonna use it. The idea is to put it in with our in-furrow fertilizer and kind of do a side-by-side. The problem is the stuff that I have in my in-furrow tank right now isn't really what I've been using, and it's not a good side-by-side. So I kind of need to use it up first, then load up some of our regular starter and this. We're basically gonna add this, not replace what I've otherwise been using. So yeah, we'll get to that stuff, I guess. We're just gonna have to use up what's in the planter first, and then we'll come load up with fertilizer. So I'm gonna pull the planter around where we can get to it with the seed tender, and we'll get the seed in, and that way when Dad's done here, we'll be able to get started planting. All right, well, we're loading up. So, all right, so let's talk about the tillage out here on this field a little bit. This field was tiled last summer. It was wheat. We harvested in July, and then we did an extensive tiling project. Basically, it was tiled every 50 to 60 feet before. Clay tile from way back in the 60s, 70s, somewhere in there. And we came in and split all of those tiles, so they're now 25 to 30 foot spacing, as well as instead of all of them having their own outlet into the ditch, we put in a main, a header, that dumps out. There's only now 2 outlets, or 2 spots where it drains into the ditch on the south side of this field here. Because the tile ran perpendicular to the rows, I think when Dad chiseled it last fall, we used the disc ripper, he actually went across the rows as well, which made it kind of rough. So yesterday he worked it with the field cultivator, and he went on an angle. He went that way, straight with the rows, he went that way, okay? I get the questions a lot about why don't you do your tillage on an angle or plowing or whatever else. We do in the fall. We do our tillage in the fall on an angle, and then in the spring on the final pass before we plant, we work it with the rows, because I don't like bouncing over all the little ridges with the planter. It makes a difference in your ride quality and how good of a job the planter is doing. That's why. So Dad went on an angle the first time because he knew he was going to hit it a second time, which he is doing right now, and smoothing it up, and then the tillage passes or any ridges left will be with the rows, and the row units won't be bouncing over them or across them. So that's what he's doing now. Once he gets done, we'll start planting, but it's going to be another hour or two, it looks like. Doing acrobatics up here. Anyway, I just thought I'd walk out here and see what it's looking like where Dad's fitting the ground here. It's not terrible. There are some clumps and stuff, this kind of stuff, that it's just borderline. It's mostly from where the tile lines were, so you can see there was one right here, goes all the way to the ditch that way. It was mounded up, and so you dug a little deeper. He's digging a little deeper in those spots, and it's a little chunkier, but that's why we let it air out, so now when he hits it again, it should help break some of that stuff up. And he didn't pull the packer yesterday, so this is the finish. It's a little rougher. You can see going on the angle here, and that's why we like the packer, because it breaks this kind of stuff up and smashes everything down. But you can see how there's just a little wave to it across, and that's why I like going with the rows, so we don't have that. I was gonna stand here and film him, then I realized I would be in a dust cloud, so we're gonna go over to the other side of him, where I'm not gonna be in a dust cloud. Better, but we're gonna have to move quick because he's gonna turn around, and then we'll be right back in it. definitely plantable. Look, it's a perfectly spherical white rock. Weird. Ah, look, a tractor seat. I stopped Dad to ask him if he wanted to go get some lunch. It is 1:30 and he probably hasn't gone anywhere yet today, so he said, yeah, I can do that. Okay, good. So I'll work on this for a while until he gets back. I don't have anything else to do anyway. It's dusty. Seems to be pulling all right. It is a little bumpy. These tile lines are going to settle throughout the year. It's probably going to be not fun to spray. My Haggy guy is going to be quite upset with me when he gets here. Sorry, Zach. But, yeah, it is what it is. Alright, Dad came back, took over for me. I'm going to go and grab something to eat now real fast because he's got half hour or so, probably not even that, 20 minutes to finish this up, and then we can fire up a corn planter. Oh, it is a warm one out here today. Like 87, 88 degrees right now. Dad just got done with his field and jumped across the ditch over there on our new crossing. He's getting ready to, which means we can go plant corn. Okay, after some minor startup hiccups, my one vacuum sensor wasn't working, so then it wouldn't do vac automation, which meant that it just shut the motor down and it wasn't doing anything, so I just turned off vac automation and was going to run it manually, and now my sensor is working, but we're still just going to run it manually. It's fine. But we got that fixed, so we're off and running. Don't hit the pole. Okay. And yeah, we should be in good shape here. Nice thing about our fields down to Berkey is they're all nice, big, square fields with half-mile long rows, basically, for the most part. So, should go nice and smoothly. Can still feel the tile lines a little bit. They're not too bad, but it's going to be that way for a little bit here. Okay, well, we're using up the fertilizer pretty quick, although we're plugging up a screen on the 2x2 stuff because now we're not putting on a full enough rate. Every time I stop and turn, it goes back up, and then it kind of slowly fades its way down until we run out of pressure. So we gotta go out and clean our screen. That's the problem with using old stuff. Oh well. That stuff. I cleaned this before we started this field. Like, we haven't even made it back to the front yet. That's why I want to get the tank empty and get all of it out of there before we refill it. Although refilling it would dilute it, so maybe that would be better. I don't know. And now we're back up to pressure and volume, and all is good. See how long it lasts. All right, our fertilizer tanks are basically empty. There's a little bit left, but it's low enough we can deal with it, I guess. We're gonna fold up and refill. I had to stop and clean the filter out again twice. We made 2 rounds and did end rows on one end of the field and then like that little bit in front of that house lot over there. 15 acres, but I had to clean out twice. That's crazy. Hopefully we don't have any more issues now that we're going back to our regular fertilizer that hasn't had any issues up to this point. So I let the little bit that was left in my in-furrow tank flow back into this tank, and now we're pumping it up into the very front tank, which is forcing it through our strainer. So after I get that empty, we shouldn't have any more fertilizer plugging screen issues. We'll clean our filter out one more time, and we'll just save that stuff in the front tank for later. I can just shut that valve off so it doesn't, you know, use it until we're not doing a test, and then it'll be fine. Okay. So we're gonna fill up our in-furrow tank, and we are not gonna put our chicken water in right now. We'll use that later. But our front tank here is our season pass plus with microcarb from the Andersons, and we are gonna fill that up. Trying to debate how much I need. I need about 360 gallons to finish the field. I'm thinking we're gonna put in 400. We're gonna go out there and plant until we get down to 250. And then we're gonna put in a full tote of the chicken water. That'll give us more than enough to finish the field. And we'll just use it up in the next field. And we'll have another side-by-side over there or something. But when we put that stuff in, we're going to double our prescription. So we're putting on like a 10-gallon rate instead of a 5-gallon rate. So we're getting the same amount of this product, we're just adding in that chicken water instead. So that's the plan. That's what we're gonna do. We need about 1,100 gallons of our 2x2 starter, so we're almost there. Not quite. We are gonna run out of fertilizer today. Like, I'm not gonna be able, that's gonna be the holdup here, is we're just not gonna be able to get fertilizer here fast enough. So we'll plant what we can, and then we'll take the truck home tonight, and we'll bring more in the morning probably. Nothing I can do. The most important thing right now is keeping the field cultivator moving and getting everything worked up so we can plant it tomorrow if it's not done today. Okay, we've been planting for a little while. I think our tank's probably down about where we want it. 250 gallons. Time for the chicken water. I'm not real excited. But whatever, let's get it in there and try it. And we're in a really great spot for a split right on the edge of the farm line here, so it'll be easy to check and keep an eye on. So, is that a straight? Yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna be close enough. We're gonna have some corn in the grass, I think. Alright, so we are putting it in that tank. We just hooked up a little pump and we're pumping it right out of this tote here. Okay, so this stuff is Biostem, EKL Biostem, bioavailable nutrients from EnviroCure. Guaranteed analysis 0.3, 0.2, 0.4. There's hardly any nutrients in it at all. It is derived from chicken manure. Basically, they put chicken litter in a tank. They put water in. I think they like boil it or heat it up. I don't know about that entirely. But they're supposedly getting the goodies out of it. Some of the biologicals, which would make you think they're not boiling it. The amino acids and a little bit of the nutrients and stuff. I am very skeptical of this. I'm very, very skeptical. Dad kind of wanted to try it, and his theory was we don't put chicken litter on these farms down here. It's one, too far from our source of chicken litter, and two, too close to too many people. And so we aren't going to do that. But if we can get some of the benefits from it by using this stuff in our starter, we figured it was worth a shot. So we're blending it with my in-furrow. It's going to go in-furrow, and it's going to basically be an addition, not in replacement. So we're going to put 10 gallons on instead of 5 gallons of the blend, you know. So now I have to deal with the mess there because it's leaking, and it's gross. It smells terrible too. It's got ugh. I don't have a hose or any way to rinse that out. We'll have to take it back to the Waldron and do it, but we did move our hose over here to our water tank, so we're gonna flush our lines out eventually when it reprimes. Gross. I might as well pump my septic tank out and put it in one of those and use that. It's the same thing. Okay, I had to plant some endros along the road. We're past the building site. We're now in the middle of we're going back through the middle of the field here. Next to our other pass, we should have this stuff worked through the system, so this should be a good side-by-side. Oh, I updated the monitor so that it is recording that this is a different product, so that we'll have that record as well. And then after we harvest, we'll be able to use the My John Deere Ops Center to kind of compare side-by-side, and it should give us really good results. Now, I test a lot of products. I do a lot of side-by-sides and trials and that kind of stuff. Not necessarily with the planter, but sprays, foliars, fungicides, different things like that. Most of the time when I do trials, I really hope the products work. Like, I give them the best possible chance to provide a positive ROI and yield response. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. This one, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hope it fails because I really don't want to have to use this stuff. It's not fun to work with. It stinks. It's gross. It's just like, I'm not a livestock guy, as you can tell. I don't like it. But we'll see. If it does work, well, then I'm probably gonna have to use it, and we'll get over it. But if I have a choice, I don't want it to. Want to race? Want to race? I'm faster, although we slowed down. We're only doing 8 miles an hour in this field instead of 9, but I'm still faster and wider. Looks like we got one more round to do before we'll finish the field. Well, after this one. And Dad is just wrapping up the next one that we're going to go to, so that's a good deal. We are going to have to reload fertilizer, not seed, plant until we run out of seed, but we do need to load up fertilizer. We'll basically drain the 2x2 off of the truck up there, fill up our pop-up tank, or we'll see what we're going to do there, if we're going to put that other tank of chicken water in or not. But it's going well. After the first couple of rounds with the filters plug-in, I haven't had any issues since then, so we're doing really good. This is where I should have the drone up. I brought it. I intended to use it. Thought I'd get it out when we started the next field rather than this one, but this would have been a good shot. Alright, so we are loading up to go to the next field here. I'm not sure, seed-wise, we've probably got 40 acres worth of seed on there yet. Yeah, we're going to run out of seed before fertilizer now, but that's okay. We're going to drain this back tank, put everything we've got in there. We should be somewhere around 800 gallons. That'll do 50 to 60 acres, somewhere in that ballpark. Fine. We are going to pull 250 out of our front tank and put that other shuttle of chicken water in. That'll get that tank down to about 850. Now from there, if we go and plant this out and we get our 2x2 tank empty, which that would do 600 acres, 600, or not 600, 60 acres, so it'll be close, may not be totally empty. Oh, of course, I got 100 gallons on there already. Ah, crap. So, no, well, yeah, no, that's okay. That'll still work out. Then we can fill it again, and that'll get this down to like 250. But I really need it to be empty so that I can bring my 2x2 starter in both tanks tomorrow. Which means I got to get 250 gallons out of there. You know how we're going to do that? Yeah, we're going to have to put it in the empty chicken litter water shuttles. So, oh, I can smell it just walking back here. Yeah, no good. We're getting this stuff in, but it's going pretty slow. I think my filter's probably getting clogged up again. I'm going to try and force it through until we get this empty, and then we'll flush it with some water before I clean it out. Also, it appears we have the wonderful fortune of rain coming. Dang it, there was a light chance, or like a 20% chance of that tonight, and it's building right to the west of us. Have I mentioned to you how much I hope this product fails? We just took a bath in it. Super fun for me. Pumping it in, and I'm pretty sure the filter plugged because it was going really, really slow. And I was trying to force some water through it, so at least it would be, you know, water and not chicken manure. And hose blew apart on me. And this is what we've got inside of our filter. So, yeah. I don't really care if this stuff does work. It better make a frickin' 50 bushel an acre gain if I'm going to use it ever, ever, ever again. I stink. It's gross. Ew. On a better note, once again, those dark storm clouds over there somehow went from the west of us to the east of us without dropping any rain here, so missed one. That's good. Gonna be okay. We're gonna finish this tomorrow. We're gonna finish planting corn down here tomorrow. We'll finish almost all of our corn tomorrow. And Phil should finish the beans, so we're sitting in good shape. On the bright side. I took my shoes off because my socks were soaked. It smells so bad in here. I can't even, like, I have food that I want to eat, but I don't want to touch it. I don't want to swallow anything. I just, ugh. This field doesn't have the tie lines in it except for clear back in the corner over there across from that bridge where we saw Dad earlier. I said that before. Now there's some raindrops. Big ones. It's alright. I don't think we're going to get much here. We're going to do a plot in here tomorrow, so I'm going to skip over 3 planter passes. That gives me enough room for 16 entries, and I believe we have 15. So we'll skip our 3 passes, and then we'll keep planting from there, and we'll fill it in tomorrow. Well, crap. The sun's shining, but that rain has lasted for a round and a half, and now the ground is wet, and my gauge wheels are sticky. Quit at least for an hour or so and let it dry off. So what do I do? Gosh dang it. At least there's a rainbow. Dad's tires are looking mighty sticky over there too. Oh well. All right, Dad just called me, so I talked to him a little bit. It's going to dry off real fast here. The sun came back out. I can already see dry ground on top in front of me, so I'm just going to wait for everything to, like the tanks on the planter to be dry or something, and then we'll try it again and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we got a nice rainbow. Let's see, can I make that better? No. All right. Well, I waited for a little while. The ground looks drier on top. We even got a little dust back. Let's keep going. Seed bin 1 is almost empty, so we gotta go level them off. My socks are all wet, so are my shoes. I didn't want to put them back on, okay? In the longer rows now, there's a corner over there by those trees. Looks like that. So we just did the ends of the back and the longer rows. There was quite a bit of seed on the opposite side in seed bin 2, so we leveled them off. We can plant another maybe 10 acres. Well, we ran out of seed. 37.97, 38 acres we got in this field with the seed. We do have some fertilizer left, so I think we're going to go and put more seed in and then try and come back and plant until we run out of fertilizer. And then we'll load up as much of the pop-up fertilizer as we can, I guess. I don't know. Trying to figure out the best way to do this. And, yeah, we're almost done, though. It won't take long. I don't like that I have to keep driving through this corner. It's a little soft over here. Like, we cut some ruts, but that's where the driveway is. I don't have a whole lot of choice. All right, we are reloaded with seed. Dad's gonna put the tender in the barn for me. We've got one box left on there. It's a partial box, but we'll use it tomorrow. We've got enough fertilizer in both tanks really for about 12 acres. So we're gonna go plant that until one of those tanks runs empty. And then we're gonna come and get as much of our 2x2 fertilizer off of that semi-trailer as possible before we drive it home. Scratch that. The in-furrow fertilizer off that tank, off that truck. We've already got the 2x2 stuff off. It's empty. Well, maybe we'll plant another 12 acres. We got more raindrops, and we're not even under a cloud. Like, I don't understand. It's the second time tonight. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but I've already said that once, and we had to sit and wait for 20 minutes, so we'll see about this time. We just need to make about 3 rounds is all. Not even that, probably. Well, that's going to end it. Or just forget it. We shouldn't even come back to the field. We're going to try and get to the end, but look at the mud flying off of our wing wheel tires. That's not a good sign. There's dust, though. There's dust under it. Can't win one here. Well, we got 5 of our 12 acres planted. Worth the trip. No. All right, we're gonna go get as much fertilizer off of that tender trailer as possible, and I'm going home with it. So I should get it all loaded up and ready to go for the morning, but we might need an hour to air out in the morning anyway. Now that we got another little shot of rain, it didn't add up to anything. We had 100th earlier, maybe another 100th now. It's not wet. It just got real sticky real fast. So, oh well. I hope my tractor cab doesn't stink in the morning. Me and my dirty clothes won't be in it, or will be clean by then, so that should help. Okay, let's do this. It doesn't take long to get a planter filthy dirty. Oh my goodness. Oh well, it'll dry out overnight and it'll all fall right off as soon as we set it in the ground, but it's dirty quick. Okay. Those 2 tanks are full, and I did pump maybe 50 gallons into the back tank here just to have it empty. So we got 200 gallons in there, so we can do some math from there and figure out how much we need to bring back tomorrow. But I was trying to add up how much acres and stuff we've got left for the in-furrow stuff, and I think we'll make it. Maybe only by like 25 gallons, but I think we'll make it. We've got some lightning bolts to the north and the south, but it looks like it's going to go around us, so hopefully nothing else pops up and we don't get a heavier shower overnight. If that's the case and we don't get any more, we'll be fine for the morning. We are going to do a corn plot tomorrow, so that'll take a little time, but we should still be able to finish pretty easily. We don't have to make the move unless we're trying to move back. We do have that 40 acres to plant back at Waldron. Hopefully Dad can get done here with the field cultivator. He's just got 72 acres to do with the field cultivator, and then he can take off and maybe go look at that and see if it's something that's workable tomorrow or not. We got to hook up a chisel plow and go and do that, and then the field cultivator and go over it again. And I just don't know if it's going to be possible or not, but we'll find out. Yeah, fun. It's moving southeast. Shouldn't hit us. Well, I made it back here, and Phil was just pulling in with his seed tender, and I was walking to my truck to go home, and he says, "Hey, can you do this for me? Put a box of beans on and bring it over to the field." He's taking his good truck over because he had a closing wheel or something he had to work on. I don't know. He's like, "Just bring it over, you can bring my truck back." I don't think he knows that I smell like chicken litter, but whatever. I'll help him out. I'm trying to beat the rain tonight. I can't see very good, but that box over there is empty. We've got 3 paper bags, that, and that box. This box here has very little in it, but it's what he wanted. And that's it. That's all the beans. Well, he's off and running again. There's like 40 acres in that field that he's doing, that he's got maybe half of done, based on where he's at. Sorry. Based on where he's at and the other 2 fields that I know he's already gotten done today, he's going to end up doing almost 160 acres or 165 today. That's awesome. It means that he's got 40 acres to plant tomorrow. That's doable. Okay. I'm going home, finally. I'm going to take a shower. My mother cleaned my truck for me today. That was super generous, Mom. Thank you. You don't have to do that, but thank you. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We're going to have a better day tomorrow. Plot tomorrow, if everything is going smoothly and well and I don't smell like chicken barn. I'll try and do a live stream in the last field we got down there to Berkey tomorrow afternoon. And we're going to try and get the drone up, and we might do some GoPro stuff. We're going to try. We're going to try and put some effort in it for you guys. Last day of planting. Maybe. Probably not, but there is a chance. So, do you guys remember day 1 of planting when I got blasted with fertilizer and had to take my shirt off and wash it and drive around with no shirt on for a while it dried? I would do that 100 times over what happened to me today. That was not fun. Good night.